Hey, welcome to this week's episode of the Noon Whistle. I am Dustin Lehman. I am here today with
John Anzalone once again, and we are here with our guest, Dr. Martin Tadlock. Thanks for sharing your day with us.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, you're in town all the way from Texas, correct?
Yes, we came up from Sherman, Texas to visit the grandkids kids too.
So the grandkids, Dr. Martin Tadlock. That's a familiar name. What's the relation here?
Who are you connected to in Elkhorn?
Well, Jason Tadlock happens to be our son, and we claim him.
Nice. We do too.
We claim him.
We do too, and we're glad we do.
What was it like raising a superintendent of schools? What was Jason like as a young kid?
He was a typical kid. I can tell you right now that none of the kids in the Elkhorn area school district can get away with anything because he's been there, done that.
Oh, that's pretty good. So, Dr. Tadlock, you are currently you were the regional chancellor of the University of South Florida,
Yes.
and now you kind of stepped back and you're a professor there?
Yes, I came to the University of South Florida in 2016, and I was regional chancellor of University of South Florida, St. Petersburg. 4 years ago in 2022, I stepped back to a professor of educational leadership position, and we moved to Sherman, Texas.
Okay.
So I've been remote full-time with the University of South Florida from Texas since 2022. But I was the chancellor of the university prior to that. Yes.
And had many travels before that in the educational system, correct?
Yeah, I've been in Minnesota, I've been in Wisconsin in my professional career, and Utah. At Utah State. Yeah.
Okay. So would being a professor again, would that have anything to do with getting closer to the end of your career?
Well, I happen to be retiring in August. August the 3rd. I'm not
You're
sure
getting
where it
there.
is, but
We're getting
there. We're getting within a week of, yes, I will be retiring August 3rd.
Well, congratulations. Yeah, congratulations to you. And yeah, we look forward to kind of talking about the landscape of education and your experiences and thoughts, right, Dustin?
Yeah, but let's kind of build the foundation here. So you have been to multiple levels, it looks like, of education. It almost would sound like it's been in your DNA. Have you grown up always thinking this was going to be your path, or what is that? Tell us about your childhood and how that kind of shaped who you are, what your path was, and how you got interested in education, higher education.
Well, I grew up very poor in a rural community, a small farm in Rockingham, North Carolina. There was no hope of going to college. I was just trying to get through high school, which I was able to do. Graduated with a 2.3 GPA.
Oh my gosh.
I wasn't a stellar student. I was working on the farm and doing everything we possibly could to help the family. So the only thing I knew to do at that time was go into the military, because there weren't many choices for me in the community to spend my time there. And I wasn't going to be able to go to college. We had no money. I didn't have the grades for it. I thought there's no way I could go. And there wasn't many opportunities in that time period. It was either go to college or go to work.
So you didn't really know your future at that point. It was, I want to go to college, so I think I need to join the service and get the GI Bill, and maybe I'll have a shot.
Yeah. The recruiter did tell me about the GI Bill, and I thought, well, if I can go in the Air Force, maybe eventually I can use the GI Bill. Maybe I'll get into college. I don't know, but at least it gives me a chance, an opportunity.
Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And from there, things kind of fell into place a little bit, right?
Yeah, my last year and a half, we were stationed in Karamsel, Turkey, and University of Maryland Extension had a university program on campus. And I decided, all right, I'm going to try a college class to see if I can do it. So they offered a Composition 101. Mrs. Kaysen, I remember her, was the professor, Composition 101, a writing class. I took the class. I got an A. I was shocked. I got an A. And I figured, all right, I can do this. So then I started applying for universities and applied to be admitted, and was admitted at an open enrollment university that just took everybody that applied, basically. And I was a non-traditional student by then because I'd been 4 years in the Air Force, so I didn't have to have an ACT score. And I had one grade on my transcript from the University of Maryland, and they said, that's fine, you're a veteran, we'll take you. If GI Bill will use, come on in. And so I went to Utah State University and entered as a freshman.
You say that in such a humble way,
Mhm.
like, but when I hear you say that, it's like I think of it as, gosh, anything's possible, right? You got excited about, holy cow, I got an A, the doors are opening, and then here you go and you get your doctorate years later, and you have run programs in universities and started out as a middle school teacher and launched your way right through that. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, it surprised me. I would have been happy with a C in that writing class. So coming out of that background, my parents were not college graduates. None of my family were, extended family. I was the first, and I didn't know what I was getting into, but I knew I had to have something. High school wasn't enough. I didn't want to go back to Rockingham, North Carolina.
Yeah.
It's a good place, but not necessarily an economic powerhouse. So I didn't want to go back there. I could have stayed in the Air Force for life, but I really didn't want to do that either. So my opportunity was the GI Bill and trying something, and Utah State offered me that opportunity.
And that's a great example. Another great example. There's many out there that through access and opportunity, or your efforts, or not caging yourself into like, well, I'm just going to farm the rest of or I'm just going to do this, or I can't do that. You said, well, I can try.
Yeah, and I didn't know what I wanted to major in.
Yeah.
I just knew I had to do something, and I took the risk, took a shot.
Yeah.
And I think too, it shows in Mr. Tadlock, our superintendent, and why he's so passionate about having that access for students while in Elkhorn Area School District. And we cover 100% of the tuition for students' college credits, and it's an unlimited. Wisconsin requires 18, but Elkhorn allows them to take as many as possible, because I think he sees that once those students find that success here, it's stackable, and they can keep building upon that. And they find those small wins and those successes, and they're that much more likely to be successful once they do go to college. Whereas I think you have this experience. Not all freshmen are super successful their very first year going into college, right? But if they have taken those classes prior to leaving high school and they find that success, I think we'll find that percentage rate going up of the success rate.
Yeah, it's called retention. So what we look at in the university is first to second year retention is a major determinant of how we're doing with those incoming first year students. And I would guess your students coming out of Elkhorn who continue their education beyond the high school here, who have been through the college credit gaining program prior to graduation, probably have a much higher retention rate in their colleges and university programs wherever they choose to go. Because they get a taste of it here, they get an opportunity to experience it. I think this is cutting edge. This is what every school district in America should be doing. And you're already there and doing it. I just think it's outstanding.
Yeah. What advice, having gone from middle school teacher all the way through, what advice would you have for high school students today?
Well, if I'm a high school student today, I'm going to be looking for what fits me. There's so many different paths, so many different directions you can take. There's online, there's hybrid, there's blended, there's starting in high school and getting all the way through an associate's degree while you're in high school. There's doing like me, taking a chance and taking a class or two to see if you can do this. Whatever you feel will work for you, and wherever you feel you want to be is where you should target yourself and where you should put your effort, your direction. Even if you're not sure where exactly you want to end up. I had no idea I would go into university administration or public school administration. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I eventually decided I would teach. And that was in my third year at Utah State as an undergraduate. I decided I wanted to be a teacher, but not until the third year. And so then I set my eyes on that, but I had no idea after that what would come. In fact, my first university administrative position, a friend of mine, Dave Larkin from Minnesota, called from Bemidji State and said, we have people applying for a dean position here, but we don't have enough people in the pool. And we really need some more applicants for the position. Would you put your resume in and just send it to them? You don't have to be interested, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
But he said, would you put your resume in and help us out, because we only have 2 people so far that have applied for this, and we need more people. So I sent him a resume, and the next thing I know, they said, well, will you now come out and interview? We only have a couple of people. We want to interview you. We're on up. Will you come out and interview? And I was a professor at Utah State, and I said, sure, I'll come out, Dave. Friend of mine, I've known you for a long time. I'll come out. Next thing I know, they offered me the position. And I accepted the position. I ended up as the dean of the College of Education at Bemidji State University in northern Minnesota, but I had no idea that's the direction that I would take. So you don't know down the road where those opportunities are going to be, where those doors are going to open, where those windows are going to open, but you got to set yourself up. And you set yourself up by pursuing something beyond high school to give you the credentials and give you the certificates or whatever it is you might need.
Yeah. And it could be in anything. And you made a good point when you talked about doors and those closing, opening doors that, I know a lot of people along the way in my life, and I'm sure your life too, are like, don't close doors, right? Keep the doors open. You may not choose these. It might be this one, but don't cut those things off so you have choices, because like your Bemidji State story, you didn't know you were going to go there. You didn't know you were going to do that. But when you got there, you thought, I think I'm going to.
Well, that changed my life in another direction. And it was still in education, but it was a completely different direction. And I enjoyed it and stayed there 45 years now in education.
Wow. Congratulations.
With some other things with students that I've noticed, sometimes when you're young, you make decisions that don't work out at that moment, but you come back. We noticed at University of South Florida, St. Pete, we had a large population of students that were called non-traditional, 25-year-old and over, that would come back to college that had struggled and were not successful in their first attempt. Doesn't mean you quit. Doesn't mean you stop. It means you look for another opportunity down the road.
Yeah. I'm sure you've seen so much in education along the way, and so many things that I guess you probably learned from, or travels you didn't think you were going to take, or places you didn't think you were going to end up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We had an opportunity while I was at Bemidji State as a dean, that first administrative role, to develop a partnership with universities in China. And I had no idea that I would ever go to such a place, but ended up going to China and establishing partnerships with universities in China for exchanges of students and faculty. And that continued throughout the rest of my career. I'm still working with Northeastern State University in Oklahoma, helping them develop partnerships in China for students. And they have more students actually enrolled at Northeastern State University in Oklahoma in China than they do on their campus in Tadlock, because of their degree programs they offer in partnership with the universities over in China.
Amazing.
Dr. Martin Tadlock, the most interesting man.
I know. We could talk, we try to keep this to 15 minutes. We could probably talk for hours. We could keep you here all day and just,
I do have one thing I want to ask you though. So you said you're about to wrap up 45 years in education. So you've seen how it's kind of transformed into what it is today. What do you think it looks like 45 years out from now? What is post-secondary education going to look like?
Well, AI is a major influence right now, and universities are struggling with how to incorporate AI productively into the educational process, and they're not sure what to do. So universities are struggling with it. I'm sure K-12 education is struggling with it, but it opens up new windows and new doors of possibility for people.
Sure.
So are you talking about robotic teachers? Are you talking about virtual teachers that really are not human? Are you talking about personalized learning like you've never seen before, where everything that you learn is fed and keyed in to a process where you can find out where your shortcomings are, where your strengths are, and you can pursue those individually much more than you ever could in the past? We don't know. We just know that AI is going to have a major impact on education in the future. We just don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
We're just all along here for the ride.
We are a little bit, right? It's like exploring. I mean, you're trying to find your way and how to make it work.
Well, I used it. I use it in my PhD classes and programs, but and I let my students use it. But there's limitations on what that means.
Right.
We don't want original thought. We don't want to lose creative and critical thinking skills. We want to build those. So how can you use AI to actually build more creative and critical thinking that people are going to need in order to make decisions about the future and about things like how do you handle AI? You've got to be able to critically think about that. So how do you use AI to enhance that versus use AI to replace that in the human population? That, I think, is the dilemma.
That's the key, and that's kind of the art of teaching, right? Is we don't want to just say, no, you can't do this, but we want to say, how, you have to be savvy consumers of your education now, and how do you leverage this tool? Because it's not going anywhere.
Right.
It's only going to get more complex.
It's only going to get more complex. So how do you teach students to leverage that opportunity so that they can continue to those critical thinking skills, but then expand on that?
Yeah, it's so amazing in the amount of time that you went from having to go to the card catalog and research books for your knowledge and papers and assignments to in the palm of our hand is a computer in our phone, and then AI, and then all the tools that go along with that for research. It's incredible. It's just hard. It's hard to put together how much that's changed in not that long of time.
Well, I came into the era of purple ditto machines.
Yeah.
Where you ran a machine to make your copies for your tests and quizzes and so forth with students. Then to the desktop computers suddenly came. Then the internet came. And all of these at the time, we said, wow, this is revolutionary. This is amazing. Look at what we can do.
Yeah.
And now we're saying the same thing about AI. My guess is we'll figure out what to do to use AI effectively to enhance our own humanness and our humane way of doing things as people, as social beings. We're going to figure out a way to incorporate AI into that, and then something else may come along too. But I think this is an incredible opportunity for students today.
Yeah.
They've got all of those things that we thought were revolutionary, and now AI is the new, what do you think about this revolutionary time? So I think students right now should be thrilled with all of the opportunities that are there just on the basis of AI coming in as the new computer age.
Sure.
The information age is now transforming into information that feeds and builds upon itself. So what do you do with that?
Yeah.
As a student, I would be looking for opportunities in that area.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for
Words of wisdom.
taking time and sharing your story and your story of, try, explore, put forth the effort, keep the doors open. And I think it's just a great message of you can be whoever you want to be and whatever you want to be if you're willing to put the effort.
Oh, you can. And poor farm kid growing up in North Carolina, cutting okra for a living, priming tobacco with the neighbors to make money, with no idea of what to do.
But I'm sure that shaped your work ethic as well. Something you wouldn't trade because it taught you to be who you are.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
It takes that drive to decide I'm going to go after something.
Yeah.
And then you do it. You go after it. And be ready to vary. Be ready for that path to change, because it could change.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I
Yeah,
know, you talk about AI. Maybe next time we talk, you'll fly in like the Jetsons and you don't have to use a car to get here.
I can just do it from home.
Yeah, we can do it virtually.
We could do that too. But we really like
way better being in studio. So
you got anything else?
No, Dr. Tadlock, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and great to get your insights on these things. And I guess we'll have you back sometime. Maybe it'll be virtually from Texas, but we'll have you back sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd be glad to come to Elkhorn. I love Elkhorn.
Great to see the grandkids, right? Awesome. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Take care, guys.